Now, I can't be the only one who's noticing this, right? Take a look at Firefox. Take a look at Chrome. Take a look at Edge, even. I mean, what the hell? Edge was usually the guy that was always sort of behind, a little bit slower. Now they all look the same. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of things these days. You look at UI now, and it's pretty much the options of your color. That's really it. Maybe the font. I'm getting a little tired of it, and I think that we all are. In fact, I think that it's time for a change. Introducing to you, Arc Browser. Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between, my name is Matt Paradoxician, and today it's my pleasure to introduce you to Arc Browser. Now, I'm going to do that on my Mac today, and the reason is, although it's available on Windows, there's still a few features that haven't quite made their way to the Windows version, as it only came out publicly earlier this year. So, without further ado, let me teleport and we'll get right into it. Ta-da! Welcome to my Mac! Anyway, a little intro. Arc Browser, developed by the Browser Company of New York, is a new and unique take on navigating the ever-growing and confusing world of the internet. Its reviews are raving, and it flexes the idea of being a calm, clean experience, to which I have to agree. So, let's get into it. Right off the bat, you'll notice a huge difference in the look and feel of Arc when compared to other browsers. Most notably, you'll see this large, easy-to-read search bar in the center of your screen with suggestions and options to switch to tabs already open on this or other devices. That's right, we're already seeing some unique features, as Arc actually maintains all of your tabs across all of your devices, so you can easily pick up where you left off on any device with it installed. That said, I'm going to ignore this search bar for now, because I want to show off the features of our sidebar here, which Arc lovingly refers to as your space. If you hadn't noticed already, spaces are essentially Arc's replacement for your tabs and navigation bar as a whole, and it feels fantastic. Everything is much more organized, not to mention modern. Personally, I absolutely love the fact that bookmarks or favorites or whatever you call them appear as tiles at the top of your space instead of being lined up across the top of your window. That said, it's not our only option. If you're someone who prefers keeping your bookmarks in a more classic feeling drop-down list, you can, using folders. In fact, folders are unique in the sense that you can not only store your favorite websites, but also have them open in the folder itself, as you can see me doing here with Google. Oh, and if I ever want to make things feel less cluttered, I can simply minimize the contents of the folder, or even remove pages that I don't need anymore with a click of a button. Awesome, right? But we're just getting started. Let's talk multitasking. When it comes to multitasking, Arc has everything. Starting off relatively simple, let's say I want to work on my website, which you should definitely visit, by the way. Anyway, Arc, like other browsers, has the ability to open tabs in split view, which essentially mimics the idea of maybe in Windows you're familiar with having your windows on either half of your screen, but it does so with tabs. So maybe I want to have my hostinger, which is my website host, tab on the other side, and work on my website here with my dashboard while looking at it in real time on the left side. I can do that. However, Arc takes it a step further than other browsers, allowing you to stack a seemingly indefinite number of tabs together in split view. Say I wanted to add Google, I can open that in split view as well, and bada bing bada boom, that's on the right side of my screen as well. So maybe I'm Googling things about HTML elements to make my website better. I can have all three of these tabs working at the same time. Oh, and if things are feeling a little smushed, just hide the sidebar using Control or Command S respectively to your platform. But wait, there's actually a lot more. Up until this point, I'm sure you've noticed I've been in my personal space here. As it turns out, you can actually have multiple spaces and assign them to various profiles. To clarify, here in my personal space, you can see I am signed in my Paradoxician Google account. Whereas if I swipe on my trackpad or click the icon at the bottom of my space to move into my academia space, I'm clearly signed into my university Google account. In fact, by switching spaces and profiles, my entire experience has changed. Not only do I have a different theme on this particular space, but I also have different bookmarks that better reflect my browsing when I'm working on academics. It's a very unique feature that I think that pretty much only Arc has really executed on, and it's the simplest switch I have ever experienced in a browser, which is why it's become my daily driver. And yet there are still many more features of Arc to explore. If we navigate to the lower right hand corner of our space, we can click on the plus sign to see a few options. Now, aside from the obvious things like opening a new tab or splitting tabs, we have the ability here to create a new space or folder, and more interestingly, create a new easel or boost. Starting with easels, well, they're pretty literal honestly. If I create a new easel here, I'm brought to a blank page, which I can name accordingly, and, well, I can doodle. I personally haven't made a lot of use of these easels yet. They're not available on the Windows version of Arc as of now. However, I am excited to see them because you can actually share them with anyone and other Arc users can collaborate with you on them. Boosts, however, are particularly interesting as they're essentially Arc's built-in way of modding websites. For example, if I navigate to google.com, I am now able to create a boost. Boosts can be made essentially for any website and really allow for you to make the internet feel like your own. I could maybe change the color of my page here, maybe give it a little bit more yellow, maybe a little more green, I guess. I can't quite get it to the yellow. There we go. Unfortunately, they do remain a Mac only feature for the time being, but I can't wait for this to come to Windows. I think I'd really like to try it out reading things. I know that yellowing pages a little bit can reduce eye strain, but all of that aside, let's take a look at the last few things Arc has to offer. Looking now to the lower left-hand corner of my space, there is a library button, which when hovered upon, shows my most recent downloads. However, when clicked, they are shown in much more detail and you have the ability to search them. That said, there's a lot more going on in the library than just your downloads. Up here at the top, we have the Media tab, which shows all of the images found in our Downloads folder. Below that, we have the Easels tab, which allows us to rediscover any easels we may have created. Hi! In the Spaces tab, we can actually modify and create all of the spaces we have on Arc. Now this is pretty in-depth and there's a lot of different things that you can do with these spaces, and it's even a little bit different on Windows because there are some features on Mac that aren't on Windows quite yet, so I would recommend exploring those a little bit more on your own. Below that, however, we have the Boosts menu, which shows us all of our boosts and allows us to customize them in one place a little bit easier than having to navigate throughout the entirety of all of our boosts. And finally, we have the Archive Tabs page, which may take a moment to load here because I'm recording, but is essentially the history of your browsing. And as you can see, I have opened Google about 5 times here, but you can actually search your history and navigate as you see fit. There's also this little gift button, should you want to share it. Go ahead and use my link if you want to download Arc and give me a little credit. But otherwise, I hope that you've enjoyed this little guide about Arc. One thing worth mentioning is that it does also support all Chrome extensions through the Chrome Web Store. So you can see I have Honey here installed. It's a very nice browser. I use it as my daily on all my devices, and I would highly recommend downloading the app because that app has a few AI features that are really unique in that they're both powerful and informative in a way that isn't misleading. That said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a like and maybe drop a subscription here. Have a nice day. There's no way it wasn't recording. Bruh.